Hello there, it's Rich with Rich Mountain Photography, Sacramento, California, and I'm doing a super quick one image. How did I do that? I got a question in one of the groups. How did I light this big long space? And I thought I'd show you. And here is the final image I've got, and I'm pretty happy with it. I have good color cast. Somebody mentioned that my lights are exposed properly, and everything looks pretty good. Colors look good. These are off-white walls, white ceilings, long room back here. Pretty happy with the exposure of the windows out there, and I don't mind the orange there in the back because those lights cause orange. So I'm just going to start by showing you my ambient image, and here is my ambient image straight out of camera. Now, I had a problem with my camera. I had my monitor, my screen in the back of the Sony A7 III, I had it set up for daylight, so it was showing, for sunshine, so it was showing everything bright, but that's okay because we can recover it. But if you look here with the blown out, I've got quite a bit of blowout there. You can see all the red areas. If you go up into the right-hand side of your histogram there, you can see that if you overlay your finger on the right-hand side, it will show you what's blown out. So everything's okay, though. I can make it work. So the first thing I'm going to do with my ambient shot is I'm going to give it my ambient yellow out, and that is my preset for ambient shots that tend to work well, especially when they are warm from tungsten lights. Let me go back and show you again that this is the straight out of camera shot, and it's very warm in tungsten. It's actually let's see, I've got white balance of 4400 Kelvin, so it is pretty warm. Anyway, I am going to, and I want to tell you the settings are ISO 320, 17 millimeter tilt shift, 7.1 aperture, and 1/8 of a second. And I'm getting pretty good exposure all the way throughout the image. Now it's a little overexposed here, but that's okay. I can make it work. So first thing again I'm going to do is use the ambient yellow out. That brings it in the ballpark. And then I am going to bring down my exposure a little bit. And I'm going to expose for the back room there. I like that, how that is right there. Good exposure. It's a little bright on my left-hand side, so what I will do is make a gradient filter there, and I'm just going to go into make it for exposure, and I'm going to bring down the exposure about 1.5 stops on the left, and I'm going to go bring it across here, and that kind of helped there. So I like that a lot, and I am now going to go back out of the gradient filter, and I'm going to lose a little more of the orange. I'm looking over here, it's kind of yellow and orange, so I'm just going to bring it down, orange a little more, out, okay, down, there we go. And if you notice it, and a little bit of the yellow. So I've got a nice ambient shot there. It's very nice, and it is exposed well throughout. Now I have some issues with blowout lights there. These are not exposed properly, but this is the ambient shot, and I only want it for certain parts because I based my image, my final image, off of my flash shot. So let's move up to the flash shot, and here we go. Right here is the flash shot, straight out of camera, and you can see here I've got same ISO 320, 17 millimeter tilt shift, 7.1 aperture, the same as before, and 1/80th of a second. And what I did here was to expose for the room in here and the room back there. And we'll start off with this room. I had a light to my left pointing straight up. I probably had a AD200 over here, and I might have had a speed light over here pointing straight up. So I had light pointing straight up here, light pointing straight up there. I don't know what the powers were, but I don't worry about that because every shot's different. Now in this room over here, I've got a actually a 600 watt second. I've got an AD600, but I used it because I didn't have anything else. I only had 4 big lights with me. So I put the AD600 behind this wall, and there's a lot of parts I can't use, but there are some parts I can use. And over here I probably had an AD200 back here behind this wall. So I can use all this area in the middle. And then I'm going to use ambient over here. I could have put a light over here, but I didn't really need to. But most important, I got the exposure right. You can go over here and see in the histogram, little bit of blowout in the lights, but that's okay because I'm going to make them even better by adding in my full bump. 1, 2, 3, full bump. There we go. Now what I want to do is to tweak my flash shot. You can see the histogram is a little bit lopsided on the overexposed. So I'm not going to look at my histogram. I'm just going to look at my picture and bring it down where I think it should be. And it's about there. And actually I look at my histogram and it's just about right. Peak in the middle. I'm pretty good. Let's see. I've got still the blowouts in those lights, but I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. So now I see, what do I have? I have a good flash shot here. But I need help back in the ceiling. I need help over here from ambient. I need help in the windows. I like the exposure of the ambient better than the exposure for the windows for the flash shot. So I'm kind of doing an opposite, not a window pull, but an opposite window shot. So let's now go in and I'm going to highlight just my flash shot. And again, this is going to suffice to help people. How do you light a big, long area? And that's how I'm doing it. So I have my flash shot here, and then I'm going to use my ambient shot here. And that looks pretty darn good. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. You can see the good and bad in both. The good and bad in here, a little better color, a little crisper back there, much better in the foreground there. Lights are better, and ambient. It's got better there. It's going to add in a little bit of shadows. I've taken out my shadow there, and it looks pretty good. So I am now going to right click here, edit in, open as layers in Photoshop. And this is a great opportunity to say, hey, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I thank everyone who does. Ask questions. I always answer my comments. And please use the Adorama link in the show notes. When you go shopping at Adorama, just click on that link and go shopping because that helps me make these free videos, help support these free videos. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight both of these images. There we go. And I'm going to edit. I'm going to auto align layers. And there we have OK. And it's just going to take a second. And I also want to say I've got the podcast. We've got shootingspacespodcast.com. And that is a mouthful, but we do a real estate photography podcast, shootingspacespodcast.com. And we also I have my final workshop of the 2018 year in Auburn, the 16th and 17th of October. And it's going to be a beautiful luxury home in Auburn, California, 39 miles from Sacramento International Airport. And it's going to be a wonderful, beautiful home, wonderful workshop, and you're going to have a great time and learn so much. Okay, I'm now back to the image. I'm going to click on the ambient image, and I'm going to go down here. I'm going to hold down Option key on a Mac, Alt key on a PC, and I'm going to hold it down, add a layer mask, so at the same time, and it brings up my black layer mask. Very important to have a black layer mask. Now I want to make sure, remember it, now I've got my flash image on top, and beneath it, below it, masked out, is going to be my ambient shot. So I'm going to now, with white, reveal with my paintbrush. I'm selecting paintbrush, and I'm making sure that it is 0 hardness, which I like, and I've got 6% flow. I actually boldly go to 7% sometimes. Okay, so everything's good here, and I'm just going to start off back here in this back room, get rid of some of this very annoying white light up there. Okay, so let's just paint that out right there. Okay, and I'm going to get these windows back to the ambient. There we go. Get rid of that heavy-duty shadow from the light. There we go, down there. There we go. I'm going to bring it out just a little bit. Oops, right, just a little bit. Okay, now I got to be careful going around this lamp, this light, because I want to use the flash attributes of that. It's a little bit, I overlap there a little bit. Let's go bring in a little bit of ambient there. And I usually use my ambient as and I'm bringing in ambient there. Oh, look, one more thing. Down here, I had all these shadows down there. So I'm just going to paint that in, bring it back, the ambient. And as long as you have made your ambient match your flash as much as you can in the areas you need, you're going to have no problem masking in. So easy is masking in ambient into your flash image. So let's go here. And I don't even mind the little bit of orange on the ceiling. There we go. Now I want to get a little bit of ambient in here. Look how nicely that's bringing that up a little bit. And underneath here, a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the flashiness here and brighten up that window. Let's look here at that window right there. Okay, let's go in here, and I actually don't mind. I'm going to get rid of this shadow from the overhang of this tremendously big island. It's a new house build, and it's a hard house to make look good without furniture. I will say that it can be very challenging. I'm really happy with this house, how I got it. I used a lot of tricks, a lot of tips, a lot of tricks, scratching my head. How do I light this? But I show you right here how actually pretty darn easy it is. And I might have been missing something here, but that's about it. Just a little bit of ambient there, a little more there. And I'm going to go I'm going to go backwards now. I'm just going to hit my X key and turn this back into black, which is I'm going to bring back. And one thing I've noticed with the 17mm tilt shift at S7.1, because it's a full frame on the Sony a7 III, I'm not getting the depth of field I would like. I'm not getting it all the way sharp in the back. So what I'm going to start doing is probably shooting at f8 or f9 on designer shoots in big rooms. So I'm going to bring back some of that flash there, and that looks pretty good. And let's go and look at it back from where we have only flash here, and then let's put it into ambient, induced, and I'm pretty happy, man. I'm not going to do much more. Now, the only thing I might do, and I'm just examining my image before I bring it back into Lightroom, it looks pretty darn good. I am satisfied. So, also, this tilt shift helped me. I made the tripod very low because I wanted to feature this workmanship in the cabinets. Remember, when you got an empty house, you've got to kind of compose differently. So it was really tough, but I'm really happy with it. You know what? Actually, I'm going to hit X again and make this paint in. I think I've got a little bit of flash up here. So just going to get rid of that. And I think I've done it. Okay, so I'm really happy with that. I'm now going to bring it back into Command SW on a Mac. And I'm going to bring it back into Lightroom. And the only thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to add in my final bump. Look at it's regular now, and final bump is just a little bit of contrast. There we go. And I'm going to make it just a little bluer, little cooler. Oh, that was nice. Okay. Now I might even do something I rarely do, is add in some sharpening. And boy, I am pleased as punch. So I will leave you at that. And this is going to be posted in the, I think it's the Rich Baum Tips and Tricks Facebook group, as where I have some really good stuff going on and a lot of really good people. So I'm going to post that as a direct answer to a question. Again, I want to say subscribe to the Rich Baum YouTube channel, Tips and Tricks for Photography YouTube channel. Check out the podcast Shooting Spaces. Check out my workshops on my website, my Wix website, and you can find that information all over the place. Look up Rich Baum Workshops, and it's October 16th and 17th, 2018. Thank you very much. Have a great day. This is Rich Baum signing off, and until next time, we will talk to you later, see you later, and work with you later. Bye.